5 cheap trucks everyone ignores. These are absolute gold mines under $7,000. Walk onto any used car lot in America right now and the same scene plays out every single time. Customers crowd around the overpriced Tacomas and the high-mileage F-150s, while perfectly good trucks sit 50 feet away collecting dust with price tags that would make your grandfather weep. I have been turning wrenches for over 2 decades, and I am telling you that some of the most reliable pickups ever built are sitting right there in the back row, priced under $7 grand because the average buyer has no clue what they are looking at. Today I am counting down 5 of them, starting with a solid pick at number 5, and building to the single most underrated truck in the entire used market at number 1. Let us get into it. Starting at number 5 is a truck that has been hiding in plain sight for over 20 years, and the reason nobody buys it is the 3 letters on the tailgate. The GMC Sonoma, built from 1994 to 2004, is mechanically identical to the Chevy S10 in every way that matters. Same frame, same engines, same transmissions, same parts numbers at every auto parts store from Maine to California. The only difference is the badge, and that badge is costing buyers thousands of dollars because GMC does not carry the same name recognition as Chevrolet in the compact truck market. People see the Chevy logo and think dependable workhorse. They see GMC and think commercial fleet truck that got used hard. Both assumptions are wrong, and both are making you overpay. A buddy of mine who runs an HVAC company picked up a 2001 GMC Sonoma last year with the 4.3-liter Vortec V6, an extended cab, and 134,000 miles on the clock. He paid $3,800. The same dealer had a 2001 Chevy S10 with the same engine and 141,000 miles listed at $6,200. Same truck, same assembly line in Shreveport, Louisiana. He saved $2,400 because of pure badge ignorance. And that Sonoma has been hauling his tools and equipment for 14 months without a single mechanical issue. The 4.3-liter Vortec in these is a small block Chevy V8 with 2 cylinders lopped off. Timing chain, not a belt. Port fuel injection that just works. I have personally seen these engines cruise past 275,000 miles on nothing but regular oil changes. The transmissions are the same units behind the S10, and parts cost next to nothing because General Motors made millions of them. Current pricing on a clean Sonoma with the 4.3-liter and under 150,000 miles is between $3,000 and $6,500. A comparable S10 in the same condition runs from $5,000 to $8,500. When you inspect one, check the cab corners and rocker panels for rust, because these trucks lived hard lives in the snowbelt states. Check the intake manifold gaskets, because the 4.3 used plastic gaskets in this era that leak coolant around 150,000 miles. That is a $400 fix, and it is the only real weakness on the entire truck. If those 2 things check out, you are looking at a 250,000-mile pickup for the price of a decent set of golf clubs. Number 4 is a truck that most buyers either do not know about or actively avoid because they have heard horror stories about the wrong engine. The first-generation Chevy Colorado and its twin, the GMC Canyon, built from 2004 to 2012, are sitting on used lots right now at prices that make no sense for what you are getting. The trick is knowing which engine to buy. Skip the 2.8 and 2.9-liter 4 cylinders. They are adequate, but nothing special. The one you want is the 3.7-liter inline 5-cylinder from 2007 onward. That engine produces 242 horsepower and 242 pound-feet of torque, which is more power than the first-generation Tacoma 5.6 made, and it does it while getting 20 miles per gallon on the highway. A customer of mine, a retired firefighter, bought a 2009 Chevy Colorado Crew Cab with the 3.7 inline 5 and 4-wheel drive 2 years ago for $6,400 with 126,000 miles. He uses it for everything: hauling firewood, pulling a utility trailer, driving his grandkids to baseball practice. That truck just rolled past 178,000 miles, and the only repair beyond maintenance was a set of front wheel bearings at 155,000 miles. That cost him $380. The 3.7-liter inline-5 is part of the same Atlas engine family that GM used in the Trailblazer and the Envoy. It runs a timing chain, uses port fuel injection, and has no turbocharger or direct injection complexity to worry about. The 5-cylinder layout gives it a torque curve that feels more like a small V8 than a 4-cylinder, which is exactly what you want in a mid-sized truck that actually has to work. Current pricing on a 2007 to 2012 Colorado or Canyon with the 3.7-liter engine and reasonable miles is between $5,000 and $8,000. A same-year Tacoma with comparable miles is going for $14,000 to $19,000. That is a $10,000 gap for trucks that in my professional experience have similar long-term durability when maintained. When you shop for one, check the ignition coils because they can weaken around 120,000 miles and cause a misfire. That is a $60 part per coil and a 20-minute job. Check the rear leaf springs for sag if the truck was used for hauling. Listen for any engine knock on cold startup. A brief tick that goes away after 30 seconds is normal. Anything that persists means the previous owner skipped oil changes, and you should keep walking. If this kind of straight talk is helping you, hit subscribe right now. I put out videos every week breaking down the trucks worth buying and the ones the dealerships are desperate to unload on you. Now let me get back to the list. Number 3 is a full-size truck, and it is one that I recommend constantly to first-time truck buyers who need a real work truck on a tight budget. The Ford F-150 10th generation from 1997 to 2003, specifically with the 4.6-liter Triton 5.8, not the 5.4-liter. I need to be crystal clear about that. The 5.4-liter 3-valve Triton is the engine famous for spitting spark plugs and snapping cam phasers. The 4.6-liter 2-valve is a completely different animal. It is a simple, naturally aspirated, port-injected V8 with a single overhead cam per bank and zero of the problems that gave the Triton name its bad reputation. Last spring, a young guy came into my shop looking for a truck to start a small moving business. He had $6,000 and everyone had told him to buy a Chevy or save up more money. I pointed him toward a 2002 F-150X LT Super Cab with the 4.6-liter V8, a clean frame, and 148,000 miles. He bought it for $5,200. That truck has been running his business for over a year now, and the only money he has spent is oil changes and one set of brake pads. The 4.6-liter makes 231 horsepower and 293 pound-feet of torque, which is enough to tow 7,700 pounds without straining. It uses a timing chain, has no turbo, no direct injection, and parts are everywhere because Ford sold millions of these trucks. A starter motor is $120. An alternator is $180. A full tune-up with plugs and coils runs about $250 at any independent shop. Current pricing on a clean F-150 from 1997 to 2003 with the 4.6 and under 160,000 miles is between $3,500 and $7,000. Compare that to a 2010 to 2014 F-150 with the EcoBoost that costs $15,000 and will need a $2,500 turbocharger replacement before 200,000 miles. Inspection points are simple. Check the frame rails for rust, especially behind the cab and above the rear axle. Check the ball joints because they are a known wear item on this generation. And replacement runs about $500 for all four. Pull the transmission dipstick. If the fluid is dark or smells burnt, the previous owner towed heavy and never serviced it. Walk away and find one with clean red fluid. Number 2 is a truck that Dodge stopped making over a decade ago, and the used market has completely forgotten it exists. The Dodge Ram 1500, 3rd generation, from 2002 to 2008, with the 5.7-liter Hemi 5.8. Before Chrysler started adding multi-displacement cylinder deactivation in 2009, the early Hemi was about as mechanically straightforward as a modern V8 gets. No cylinder deactivation to fail, no variable valve timing on the early versions. Just a big, naturally aspirated pushrod V8 that makes 345 horsepower and 375 pound-feet of torque on regular gas. A contractor I have worked with for years has been running a 2006 Ram 1500 with the Hemi since he bought it in 2015 with 97,000 miles. He paid $7,500 back then. Today, the truck has 243,000 miles and the engine has never been opened. He changes the oil every 5,000 miles with conventional oil, and the Hemi just keeps going. The 5-speed automatic behind it, the 545 RFE, is one of the most durable transmissions Chrysler ever produced. It does not have the complexity of a modern 8-speed or 10-speed. And when it eventually does need a rebuild, any transmission shop in the country can do it for $1,800 to $2,200. Current pricing on a 2004 to 2008 Ram 1500 with the Hemi, and with between 130,000 and 170,000 miles, is between $5,000 and $8,000. When you inspect a Hemi Ram, check the exhaust manifold bolts because they are known to snap on the passenger side around 100,000 miles. That is a $400 to $600 fix at an independent shop. Check the front suspension for worn ball joints and tie rod ends, because this generation used components that wear faster than the competition. Look underneath for any rust on the frame cross members. Southern trucks are clean. Northern trucks need careful inspection. If the frame is solid and the Hemi sounds smooth, you are holding the keys to a truck that will tow, haul, and commute for another 150,000 miles without drama. Number 1, and here it is. The truck I believe is the single most underrated pickup in the entire used market right now. The Toyota T100, built from 1993 to 1998. Most people have never even heard of this truck because Toyota replaced it with the Tundra in 1999, and the market forgot it ever existed. That is a massive mistake because the T100, specifically with the 3.4-liter 5VZ FE V6, is running the exact same engine family that made the 3rd generation Tacoma and the 4Runner legendary. A longtime customer of mine, a farmer in his 60s, has been driving a 1997 T100 with the 3.4 V6 and a 5-speed manual since 2009. He bought it with 112,000 miles for $4,200. That truck now has 289,000 miles on the original engine and the original clutch. He pulls livestock trailers, hauls feed, and drives it through mud roads 6 months out of the year. Total repairs in 16 years of ownership were a water pump, a starter, and 1 set of fuel injectors. That is a truck that has cost him less than $200 a year to keep on the road. The 3.4-liter 5VZ FE V6 produces 190 horsepower and 220 pound-feet of torque. It uses a timing belt, not a chain, so you need to verify it has been replaced every 90,000 miles. That service runs $600 to $900, and it is the single most important maintenance item on this truck. If it has been done, you are looking at an engine that Toyota engineered to run in the harshest conditions on Earth. No turbo, no direct injection, port fuel injection that runs clean for decades. The automatic transmission option is the A340F, a 4-speed unit that Toyota used across half their truck lineup for over 15 years because it simply does not break. The manual is even better. Current pricing on a clean T100 with the 3.4-liter V6 is between $4,000 and $8,000 depending on miles and condition. A same-era Tacoma with the identical engine is selling for $10,000 to $16,000 because the Tacoma name carries cult pricing that the T100 does not. You are paying thousands more for a smaller truck with the same powertrain. When you inspect a T100, check the frame for rust at the rear crossmember and around the leaf spring mounts. Check whether the timing belt has been done and ask for receipts. And look at the lower ball joints because they wear on the 4-wheel drive models around 150,000 miles. If the frame is clean and the belt has been serviced, you are looking at a truck that will outlast anything on a new car lot today for less than the cost of 3 monthly payments on a 2025 pickup. So there it is, 5 trucks the market has completely abandoned. And every single one of them will outrun, outlast, and outvalue a brand new truck sitting under fluorescent lights at any dealership in America. The GMC Sonoma with its small block Vortec DNA for pennies on the dollar. The Chevy Colorado with the torquey inline 5 nobody talks about. The Ford F-150 with the bulletproof 4.6 that lives in the shadow of its problematic bigger brother. The Dodge Ram with the pre-deactivation Hemi that just refuses to quit. And the king of this list, the Toyota T100 with the legendary 3.4 that Toyota themselves replaced before the world realized what they had built. None of these trucks have lane keep assist. None of them have wireless charging pads or 12-inch infotainment screens. What they have is mechanical simplicity that was engineered to last, and that is something the modern truck industry has completely stopped building. Next time someone tries to convince you that you need a $55,000 truck with a turbocharged engine and a 7-year loan, remember this list. Walk to the back of the lot and find one of these Goldmines instead. Like the video if it helped. Subscribe for more honest truck advice, and I will see you in the next one. Drive safe, take care of your truck, and it will take care of you.